Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I am Barry Slaughter Olson, and I am a professor of interpreting and translation at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies in Monterey, California. Also a conference interpreter, and it is my privilege and honor to be able to moderate this panel on 100 years of interpreting practice. And I have four distinguished panelists that are joining me, beginning on my far right, a man who needs no introduction, Jesus Baigorri Jalón, who is a retired associate professor from the Translation and Interpreting Department at the University of Salamanca, and has a PhD in geography, history, and translation studies. He's also a retired UN staff interpreter and multi-time author on the history of our profession. And so, Jesus, thank you for joining us today. To his left, we have Juan Carlos Jimenez Marin, who was born and raised actually in Germany to Spanish parents, and studied interpreting in Barcelona, later in Geneva, and then began with the European Parliament in 1988. Where he continues to this time. He was the head of the German interpretation unit and a freelance recruiter, and is currently the director of interpreter planning and support. He's also the chair of the YAMLAP, and I think this is probably one group that understands what that acronym means. And he is the chair of the working group on training. And he's also a member of HINTS, which is a network of chief interpreters around the globe. And it's just good to have Juan Carlos here. He will be representing the institutional side of things when we talk about the history of interpreting practice. Juan Carlos, welcome. Then to his left is Matthew Ball, who is a graduate of the University of Ottawa and has an MA in conference interpreting and lexicography. That's quite a combination right there. And he is currently the Director of Interpretation and Chief Interpreter of the Translation Bureau of the Government of Canada. He's also done some teaching at the University of Ottawa and was appointed to his current position this year in 2019. A little bit of information, since I'm thrilled that we have the head of one of the National Interpreting Services here to talk with us today. They provide over 10,000 interpreter days a year, everything from what goes on at Parliament Hill there in Ottawa, all the way to international delegations and official missions around the globe. And they provide interpreting, obviously, in the official languages of Canada, English and French, but also signed, Indigenous, and many other languages as well. And Matthew is also a member of HINTS. And then to my direct right, I have to find my cards here. I'm using technology from the 20th century, and very happily so. Uroš Peters, who is the president of AIC, and so I'm a little nervous because I'm standing next to the president of my professional association. That's true, sitting. See, I don't even know if I'm sitting or standing. Born in Yugoslavia, a country that no longer exists, he attended schools in English, French, German, and Slovenian in Poland, Austria, and the United States. He's been a professional conference interpreter for 23 years and has been a freelancer that entire time. So also a wonderful perspective for us to have as we look back on on interpreting practice over the last 100 years. He's an accredited interpreter for the European Union in 7 different languages, and it was in January 2018 that he was elected president of AIC at the Valencia General Assembly. And so this is our distinguished panel. So if you'd like, please give him a round of applause, and we're going to get started. So in preparation for this panel, we took a look at that 100 years. Gratefully, they gave us a century to look at and to reflect back on. We know that interpreting goes back much farther than that. And we have areas of expertise with these 4 gentlemen. But I want to start out with a couple of questions that will get us reflecting. And I'd like you to think about these as well. We had an amazing quote that came at the end of the keynote. And I'm going to do a free translation of this quote from Jesus. And he said, "A profession that does not understand its past has no future." And what I would like to do is ask each of you, what do you think that means? And what does that mean for us as we're reflecting back on 100 years? What is it that we need to know about our past? Everybody's thinking, oh no, I hope he doesn't ask me first. So, Jesus, you were the one that had the comment, so let's start with you.